What are you watching?
Damn, dude. I've been watching Peacemaker. That's kind of been the show lately.
Did you watch season finale yet?
No, the season finale's not out, is it?
Yeah, yesterday.
Last night, that's right.
So we're great. We're on the same.
Okay, no, I've not watched the season finale yet. No.
I feel like we both have
oh my God, how do you open this?
a mutual respect and regard for James Gunn.
I love him. I'm a really big fan.
Yeah. It sucks he went through that little thing, but I'm glad he came out of it on top.
Yeah, that was such an interesting, it's such a roundabout way of him getting back into Disney. Like, it was so crazy. It was somebody I feel like had to have been like, hey man, we're going to make a big deal about like firing you, but like we'll catch you in like 6 months.
Like just go with it. Yeah, but Peacekeeper's great, man.
A little wrapped up on a dog there.
I got dogs fucking with me. Get caught.
Oh, come here. Okay. All free?
Got my cord back. I was held captive.
God, it's just
I collect comic books. I know everybody says it, and I feel like a dick because people who collect comic books are like vegans. Like I'm vegan. I read comic books. Like
sure.
I hate saying it, but you're my friend, so I can fucking say it. I don't know a lot about Peacekeeper.
So that's disappointing. Because I was going to ask you a lot of questions about Peacekeeper because I don't know a lot, man. I know very little about him. I know nothing. So I was kind of hoping that you'd be able to fill me in on a few things.
Man. I did, the initial, he's just one of those characters who, he's a deep cut from DC and, that's what James Gunn does, man. Guardians of the Galaxy was a deep cut. Nobody, the casual MCU person was like, who the hell is Guardians of the Galaxy? And this one is like a super deep cut. I'm like, I may have seen him or heard him referenced like once or twice. And from what I've read to what he's what he encompassed into his version of Peacemaker is great. John Cena's fucking killing it.
Yeah, it seems like that character is certainly here to stay. And John Cena is fantastic.
Hilarious.
I mean, he really has become, not that he wasn't like a star before, but he really has become like...
He found his character.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So, and it's great because I feel like they just announced that they're coming back with season 2, which is fantastic. I love that. I'll be super surprised if James Gunn comes back for it. It seems like he would have to, but at the same time, I feel like Marvel got their claws back in.
When I saw the report on comicbook.com, I should have sent it to you. I'm sorry. It said he's coming back to write and direct all of season 2.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah.
Great.
So he'll be back, and I haven't watched the season finale, so I don't know who makes it. I hope Vigilante's back.
Yeah. I feel like... I don't know. This is just a guess, but I'm guessing everyone makes it. I feel like they've already killed off the people that they were going to kill off.
Yeah. Okay. They did kill off.
And now it's just like everybody's here for the ride. Because to be honest, all the characters that are left, I like quite a bit. Not that James Gunn wouldn't kill them off just because I like them, but the lead guy, like the lead guy in the group, the one that died. Can't remember his name.
Put a pin in that.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to him. But yeah, continue. He's important. He's important in this discussion.
All right, great. So this is what we're talking about. But it's like a character in the show. I could live without him like going on into other seasons.
There's no need.
But I like everybody else a lot.
They gave us the soft blow by letting us know he's who he is and what happened to him. So that happening is kind of like, it wasn't expected, but it also was kind of foreshadowed. He's gonna go.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm okay with that, and I'm predicting that everybody else makes it, but we'll see. Obviously, John Cena is going to come back for season 2, which is
great,
awesome. Hopefully, the bird, the eagle, Eagly, he's fantastic. That's great. That whole show is really
good,
top
man.
notch.
It's just good and fun to watch.
But you've got no insight on the character as far as like the comic books are concerned. Like you're not very familiar with him. I'd never heard of him until Suicide Squad, to be completely honest. I didn't even know that he was a character. Was he do you know if he was always like was he always a very comedic person?
He is a offshoot of, he's a characterization of Marvel's Punisher.
Got you.
Type, but they get very in, like with his father.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. So,
But is James Gunn's rendition of him like drastically different than what is in the comics? Do you know?
Yeah, it's more comedic.
Okay.
The fact that he takes himself very seriously, but doesn't take himself seriously, like the whack outfit.
Yeah.
The helmet. He knows that it's stupid, but to him it means something.
Yeah.
So, and those are cornerstones of the character from what I've read. And there's been 3 different Peacekeepers in the comics.
Oh, really?
So,
as far as like people filling the role.
Yeah, 3 different people. He's always been associated with Suicide Squad, so that's why he was obviously chosen. But outside of that, man, that's all I got for him.
Is there anything? So you were saying I can't remember his name. This is going to drive me nuts. But the guy that died, like the leader of the unit, you were saying that is there more to his character?
Was it Mirror or Moth? Mirror? I can't remember.
Yeah, this is going to drive me nuts. But
we always do that. There's always a person's name we can't. remember.
I think if you're listening to this, you know who we're talking about. Do you know something about him that I don't? Like as far as the second season is concerned,
No.
like you were saying that you thought maybe there was more to that.
No. The reason I brought him up is because, James Gunn is doing Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yes.
The actor was just cast as, quote unquote, a very important Marvel character.
Interesting.
For Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Interesting.
Yeah. And, the grapevine is it's supposed to be the High Evolutionary.
Yeah.
Which is like a deity, cosmic entity.
Okay.
So that brings a lot of other things to the table. He was involved with the creation of Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, which
okay.
So he's a deep cut.
I feel like that's a good transition over into some of the Marvel stuff. What are your thoughts on Guardians according to, I guess, James Gunn not really reappearing in this way ever again beyond Guardians 3?
Yeah.
Do you take that as like these characters are never, like these actors are never coming back as these characters, or do you take that as like we're not, like everybody's going to die at the end of Guardians 3 and we're not going to see these people anymore?
I think we'll see them again, just not in this fashion. Marvel's very formulaic.
Yeah.
The trilogies usually wrap it up. It's 3 and done with that cast, and then if you see these characters again, it will be in a totally different. Like
they kind of just pop up and
they'll just pop back up.
Yeah.
Like we're still seeing, we'll see Thor in some fashion. He's got another one coming. I guess I can't really include him, but again, with the Disney Plus stuff, nothing's off limits anymore.
Yeah.
Who's not going to come back for that check?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you just think that like people like Chris Pratt or something would keep circling around if wanted or needed.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just interesting to see that. I guess Guardians was such a like that. I loved that series. It was so great. So it's kind of a bummer to hear that be. So I guess
it opens it up, and James Gunn is such a risk taker. It opens it up for another. We've been with this amalgamation of characters for 3 movies and 3 crossovers. So with the Avengers stuff and Infinity War, 5 movies. I'm sorry, or whatever. Now we can get into the more recent crazy roster changes if they want to bring that franchise back in some way.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the announcement that the Avengers are not coming back? That they're not going to do another Avengers?
I don't think they should.
Think that that's over and done with?
I think it's done, man.
No reassembly in the future.
I don't. Unfortunately,
or would it be under some other like name?
I think. All right. So, what they did with the Avengers was take some C-list characters and make them fucking household names.
Yeah.
Iron Man, Thor, like they've been around. They're a great staple in the comic book community, but they were never the money makers, right? The money makers was Spiderman, Fantastic Four, the X-Men in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Avengers were always kind of just, they're there. They'll cross over into that stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, so to get into now, to see actors get old, they're trying to create legacy.
Sure.
Storytelling, right? That's Star Wars-esque, that spans a time. So unfortunately, in this type of, in the movie business, you can't really continue with the same people, but for so long, right?
Sure.
Before people get sick of seeing them.
But there's got to be like another. There has to be another Avengers type of like
we'll get the X-Men
tentpole, right? Like at some point, and
we'll
you think that'll be an X-Men.
It'll be either.
Or,
I think X-Men in their own lane have about 20 years of movie storytelling. If you really want to get deep, you know.
Yeah.
And then there's Fantastic Four. So I think Marvel is kind of away from what they did with that Infinity Saga.
Gotcha.
Right? Like now our movies will just be big events. Like every movie's a big event now. And you don't know what you're going to see. You don't know what's going to happen. You know, Spider-Man No Way Home was like that, right?
Yeah. But what do you think that, I mean, I feel like many people, now I've not seen the film yet, so forgive me, but Eternals, for example, I feel like that kind of got dumped on for a variety of reasons. It doesn't feel like that's as much of a tentpole as like Spider-Man. Those movies, it's interesting because they feel like events when they come around, right? Like everybody kind of gets super hyped about that as if it was an Avengers level film. Yeah. But then something like Eternals rolls around.
And it wasn't.
And most people like don't even, I mean, a lot of people, it doesn't even register for them. Like they don't even know about it. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like I have so many people that were non-Marvel fans or even like that weren't really that connected to it that were just so excited to go see Spider-Man and were raving about that. So why does Spider-Man get, like, where does that credibility come from? Why does he get such clout when all these other movies are kind of seemingly, or at least they feel like just, I don't know, holdover films. Like this is just to tide you to Thor 4. Like this is just calm down. Like this is just to fill the gap between, you know, the next, you know, whatever.
I think the pandemic played a big role in that, right? Because Marvel's a risk taker, right? We're gonna this is what we want, and we want it for specific reasons.
Yeah.
Right? And Eternals was one of those movies that they needed to have to open up a grander scale of what they want to do with their cosmic.
Got you.
Right? But I don't think, you can't think that a pandemic is going to happen, right? So it's like, all right, well, we were going to do this anyway, and, you know, the money's already spent, the contracts are signed.
Sure.
You
kind of have to go through
Let's just go through with it.
Yeah.
And it'll hold people over, and we'll still give them the big stuff. You know, their slate keeps changing, you know, obviously, and you know, it's the movie business in America.
Yeah.
You know, so I think they were good placeholders. They had some deep things in the movies that will really help the MCU in the future if they want to pull from it. You know, we may not see Eternals again. We might. You know,
kind of tough to say.
Yes, it'll add value in some type of way. We just don't know how.
I feel like it's got to be a bummer to have been cast for the Eternals. I feel like they got a lot of really big names, but like at some point you have to be like, oh, this is not one of those Marvel movies. This is the other Marvel movie.
This is a different one.
We might not see this again.
You know, which is unfortunate for the casual MCU person that didn't fall in love with this until it was, you know, they got on at the third stop, like, oh yeah, I went in on this.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny, my father-in-law's big, he loves, you know, all the Marvel movies.
Sure.
He call me or text me, and, all right, what do I need to know? I know, you know, the history. Like, so what are these guys?
Yeah, build it up for me.
And he, you know, went to see Eternals, hit me up. He was like, not my favorite.
Damn.
And I was like, all right. But he didn't say it was awful. He just said it was not his favorite.
I mean, it's hard to imagine any Marvel film really being truly bad, even if you kind of think back to some of the ones that weren't as popular, like, you know, like the second Thor and stuff like that. Like, they really aren't bad.
They're bad for Marvel movies.
They're bad for Marvel movies, but they're not like bad movies. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They're still enjoyable.
Yeah, they certainly
I'll pay $6.99 and have them just
hang out. Yeah, so
on an app. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, dude. So with Spider-Man, obviously like such a massive hit. How do you feel about?
Oh, I'm sorry, Five. I just want some whiskey, Five.
How do you feel about all the Spider-Mans making their reappearance? Do you think we'll see them again?
Is this even open? Oh, it is. It's
open,
already
dude.
open.
Yeah, it was actually.
I was like, how'd you
really
get some and it doesn't open? First of all, the running joke is you are Andrew Garfield. So
yeah, yeah. I've got an interesting story about this.
Or you guys distant cousins, or stepbrothers or whatever. But it's just every time I see him, I immediately think of you.
Yeah,
but,
that out of all of the lookalike actors that I get compared to, that's the number one person that I get is Andrew Garfield all the time.
Oh, cheers.
And cheers to you, my man. Welcome back. And so my wife, she loves Marvel. She's like very into it. Never was into the older like Spider-Mans or the older movies. Just kind of really got on board with the whole Avengers thing. And so we all went to go see the new Spider-Man. And she was kind of introduced to Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man character.
As her Spider, yeah.
Yeah. So, and she is obsessed.
So that's why
with
she married
Andrew
you?
Garfield. Well, that's what she's telling me. I'm not sure that it's. I don't know if I quite buy it, but that's her leverage, right? She says that it's because he looks like you. Anyway, she is. Have you ever so obsessed?
Put the Spider-Man suit on for her?
Okay, dude, this is what I'm getting to. All right, great. This is what I'm getting to. All right, so calm down. So she is like raving about Andrew Garfield. She's following Andrew Garfield fan accounts.
Oh my god.
Andrew Garfield doesn't have an Instagram, so she can't follow him like directly.
Right.
So it and there's something a little sad about fan accounts for actors that aren't like hugely famous. Like he's famous, but he's not like Tom Cruise. Like the catalog of content that they have to pull from is pretty like limited, right? So it's basically like the same pictures of him as Spider-Man like over and over and over and over again. That's what the fan accounts look like, at least in my opinion. So anyway, she is fan art fully bought into Andrew Garfield, and it's like we watched all the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies again, and so she bought me a Spider-Man outfit, like went online and like actively pursued that Spider-Man outfit, not just any Spider-Man outfit.
Amazing Spider-Man suit.
Amazing Spider-Man suit. Yeah. So she bought me the Spider-Man suit, dude. Full top down. Whole thing, right? It zips up like top to bottom.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm in. All in, dude.
We gotta
I don't have the mask. She has the mask. You don't need the mask. But I don't need the mask because that's not what she likes.
She likes this.
She likes the mask off Amazing Spider-Man because that's when she gets to see Andrew Garfield's face. When he's got the mask on, it could be anybody under that.
Can we go to a Comic-Con and you wear it?
Yeah.
I'll get something.
Yeah, it's elastic, top down. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know exactly what it's made out of, but it's basically just like a giant, like, I don't know, elastic suit. Just, it zips up the back, man.
That's amazing that you wear a Spider-Man suit for your wife.
Yeah, well, the things we do for love, dude. Yeah, so she's been like super, super, super excited about the whole Andrew Garfield thing. Which, interestingly enough, like Andrew Garfield was always my favorite version of Spider-Man, not because he looked like me, and I can give some reasoning as to why, but
he's up there for me.
I always thought Tobey Maguire was too like he was kind of just too soft all the time. And that's not like a dig at like guys that are like soft. He just always felt very like, I don't know, kind of lame to me a little bit.
Okay.
And he always seemed a little too old for the role. And I guess I know that he was not in high school during those Spider-Man movies. I guess he was like obviously older. But I always envisioned Spider-Man as kind of a younger person or somebody that was a little bit more youthful. And he felt a little bit more like, I don't know, insurance salesman kind of ish to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So that whole series of Spider-Man was never really my favorite. I always thought it wasn't as cool as it could be. And so the Amazing Spider-Man.
It was very, I don't have the exact word for this, but I have a comparison.
All right.
It's very Tim Burton Batman-esque.
Yeah.
In the way that it's comic-y.
Sure.
You know, it wasn't hard-hitting, which is why I feel like they went with a more serious tone for the Garfield version.
Yeah.
So I agree with you in that point. Like it could have been a little less.
It was just always a little too cutesy for me. That was just always my feeling about it. It was just always a little too cutesy. And then so the Andrew Garfield version came along, and Mark Webb did that one, and right. He had done 500 Days of Summer, which I was really into that movie. And it was kind of like up and coming. So I was excited because I thought like, okay, cool. Like we're going to get like a different version, which I feel like we did get a bit of a different version of Spider-Man, one that I was more into. He was, again, I don't think Andrew Garfield looked like he was in 10th grade.
No.
He definitely did not. But he was more of a youthful Spider-Man character, I thought. You know, he skateboarded. He was like, they put him in high school. They at least put him in high school situations and scenarios. He actually designed and like developed some of the tech. He did his own thing. Yeah. So that seemed cool. Like he was trying to kind of figure out, you know, who Spider-Man was on his own.
We got to see the Peter Parker character that the comic book people are used to.
Yeah.
For Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire to be so comic-y, it wasn't the deep character experience that we got with Andrew Garfield. And that's why I get a lot of people that say they don't like the Amazing Spider-Mans because they were too cold. Right?
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah, I also thought he was a better actor. Like, I think Andrew Garfield is actually like a gifted actor.
That's the one thing that him and
Emma Stone together did, I thought, really well. Yeah. They did great.
It was very serious. It was a very serious version of Spider-Man. And I just don't think people
were ready for that.
But
we had Batman Begins. And all
Batman's
of that.
A dark guy.
Yeah, I guess
Spider-Man's not supposed to be so...
He was a little sad, I guess, now that you think about it. Although, I think when he finally became Spider-Man, I mean, it was pretty comical. Like, he did tell jokes. He was pretty...
That's the thing, the thing with Peter Parker, you know? Like, he's a kid with teenage angst, and he wasn't really important or felt like he was important until this happened to him.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think over 3 movies, the Tom Holland experience, he really explains that I wasn't what I was before this.
Yeah.
So I can't be that still, but I can do things to at least help.
Yeah.
Right? So when he puts the suit on, you know, back to Garfield, he is expressive. He's happy. He's happy to be doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you if you needed to take that, and then I choked on my bourbon.
Which is interesting because I don't dislike Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I enjoy him. I think that he is a fun person.
It's a fun Disney version.
He's a fun Disney version.
It's good. You know, it's just
but my hang up, and this was like I doubled down on this after having just recently watched The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Tom's Spider-Man never really feels like he ever, and again, I know there's more movies to come, so this will obviously change, but he always seems in every movie like he's so surprised that he's Spider-Man. Like he's never confident in himself or his abilities.
I think that's
He's
funny.
Always running from like one movie to the next or from one scene to the next being like, I don't know if I can do this. And he's like, it's like, I'm looking the confidence. And Andrew Garfield had that pretty quickly through the first movie. Like, he was cool.
There's a scene in, is it Amazing Spider-Man 2? Where he's sitting down with Harry and he wants Harry's blood. I mean, he wants Peter Parker's blood.
Yeah.
And Peter Parker is like, no, man, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's one of the references you're speaking about, is that in that instance, he knew, I'm Spider-Man. I can't give you my fucking blood, bro.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't. That's just not something on the table, right? And he knows what comes with exposing himself like that, right? Like, you are my, you know, best friend, but at the same time, like, my blood is what makes me who I am.
Yeah.
And who I am is to protect a lot of people. So who knows what happens if I give you my blood, bro?
Sure.
You know, so. But we haven't gotten that instance from yet. Holland Spider-Man. But I think after this movie, it will give that character confidence in being who he is, right? Because at the end of the movie, I guess, we can talk it, right? Talk about it, right?
I feel like we can talk about it. I feel like I kind of spoiled it already because I was talking about how all the characters came back.
I think in a functional way, Marvel wanted to use Spider-Man and mend this relationship with Sony and get him over here. And we got him over here, and the best way to do it was to fix him in, right? We fixed him in. And it still wasn't the traditional Spider-Man that all of us know. It had elements of it. But, the high-tech suit, and he's Tony Stark's apprentice, which, never happened. And
I've got questions about that too.
Yeah, so he's actually very apprentice-like with Mr. Fantastic in the comic books, right?
Yeah.
Like he's the guy he always goes to, right? He's the guy. He's the uncle,
Sure.
Like, so I guess you got to figure it out some way. MCU doesn't have Fantastic Four yet. We use Tony Stark, whatever.
Yeah.
And I have a theory about that I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
You want to go now?
I mean, I love theories. I'm here for that. Okay. One thing, this is just, we don't have to go down this tangent, but it does frustrate me a little bit that I know that Tony's dead. I get that.
Yeah.
But it's a bummer that every movie now has to kind of figure out a way
because Tony's not
to
dead.
back out of the cool shit that they all had. Like Spider-Man doesn't have any of his cool stuff anymore because Tony's dead. And Hawkeye doesn't have any cool arrows anymore because Tony's dead. Okay, and it's like there has to be somebody else at Stark Industries that's like, I'll take care of the Avengers. Like, don't worry about this. Like, what's Pepper Potts doing? Like, wouldn't there be some division of Stark Industries that would at least be like, all right, we gotta make stuff for the boys still. Like, we gotta get this stuff.
Did you watch the Captain America, Hawkeye? No, Captain America and Winter Soldier?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I think they referenced it there. He's like, when Tony died, he's like, we didn't get pensions and shit. Like,
no, I mean, I don't.
I mean? Like,
which also, I mean, I don't I don't know. That's a weird. I don't think the pensions thing is not really relevant to me in my experience of the shows and movies. Like, I feel like that's a weird thing, but it's not. They're not wrong. Like, it seems like Tony Stark, who's like the richest guy in the world and has all this cool stuff and has been supplying everything for all of these people for so long,
would have had some contingency plan in case he's not there.
Yeah, his wife.
Yeah, his wife.
I mean, she was involved very
heavily.
At his
funeral. Yeah, she had a suit on in the morning.
Yeah, she has her own gear. So obviously, she's hip to the fact that the technology's there and it exists. She obviously runs.
Well, we got
company.
Happy. Happy was around.
I know, but why isn't Happy bringing any of this stuff anymore? I feel like Happy would pop up in other Avengers scenarios and be like, "Hey, I got you." Like, why isn't Hawkeye calling Happy and being like, yo, dude, I need some of these arrows real quick. Well, and then he drop ships them. It just seems to me.
Wakanda jumped in for the Winter Soldier.
We just need to figure out somebody has to come through and start providing dope gear.
Well,
because
my next
is on his own.
Guess would have been T'Challa, but rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Like that.
Yeah, that's a.
He would have been like the next guy, and now he's. I'm not gonna say the character's no longer here, but he's no longer here, and they're not talking about recasting him.
Yeah, they got to figure out a way to get everybody their cool stuff again. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
it seems like it's too much work. It's too complicated.
Yeah,
it's also not true. Like, if you would have gone through that whole experience, Tony Stark could have been like, "All right, guys, I've got you. You're employees now. Let's get you on some salary.
You need
something." Like, I get it. They don't have to be millionaires. But Hawkeye's out here struggling to buy Christmas gifts or whatever. And it's like, this isn't true. Like, he would, if he had saved the world.
Where's Nick Fury? What the fuck?
Yeah, what is Nick Fury doing? Somebody get these guys on payroll.
Somebody get these guys some weapons.
If I'm not on payroll, don't hit me up when you need me. Like, how are you going to expect all these guys to show up and defend the world when they're not even getting paid?
Well, I think with not only with Tony dying, I think the Avengers died. It's over. They're done.
Yeah, but it's also not, because I feel like the characters are still around fighting crime. Like, they're still doing stuff. Like, Hawkeye is still doing stuff.
I like the threading, right? I don't feel like these guys want to do it. You know, like he's like, fuck this fucking girl.
So I gotta watch them just grind through retirement.
I think now we watch the grind. Now
but like Spider-Man's like young enough.
We watch Jordan on the Wizards now.
And like why? Like how is he? How is Spider-Man gonna make his stuff or his gear? Isn't he supposed to be like capable of doing some of that stuff?
Well, I feel like that's why the end of No Way Home showing him completely miserable, using a sewing machine, making his suit it was a soft reboot in a way.
Yeah, but like, where's Happy? What happened to Happy?
He saw him, right? He saw him at the graveyard.
No, I know that, but like,
Happy doesn't know who he is.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Damn it.
He knows who Spider-Man is.
Dude, I saw something the other day that really, it was like a meme or something like that, and it really made a lot of sense to me. You can try to debunk this now, but somebody was saying that it would have made a lot more sense if Spider-Man had asked Strange to make everybody forget Mysterio instead of forget who he was. Because if you forget who Mysterio was, then you would have forgotten, I guess, the aspect of him telling you who Peter Parker was. So it would have actually kind of erased that chapter.
I don't think a 16-year-old kid is that smart.
No, but Doctor Strange is.
He's an idiot, obviously.
But why? Yeah, great question. Why does he do so many stupid things, but yet he has to be like the smartest Avenger outside of Tony?
This is my...
he seems to make a lot of mistakes.
I have a...
he's cleaning up a lot of problems all the time.
in a comic book club, right?
I did not know that. What kind of club is this?
It's just we read comic books.
Like together?
Sometimes.
You guys all get together?
No, not together. Like, we started it when I left New York and I moved to Maryland.
So it's like a remote thing.
Yeah, and pandemic has helped a lot because like we'll read a book and then do like a Zoom. Like pandemic helped with that. We'll do a Zoom and like talk about the book and shit.
That's great. I love that.
Shout out to First Class Breakfast. They're a blog site in New York, and like the two guys that are in the book club.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's like 15 guys, like 10 guys from New York, another guy from Georgia and shit.
Hell yeah.
We'll read the book and then jump in. But what was my initial point? My initial point was, damn, I lost it. I was bringing up the book.
It's all good. We were talking about Doctor Strange and why he
got it. I always tell these guys
spends a lot of time cleaning up
how
mistakes.
fucking useless Doctor Strange is.
Yeah,
that's
why?
So
it's one of those things where I feel like it's a character that has too many powers, and it's like, well, all right, what do we do with him now? Because technically he can do whatever he wants, really, right? Like he has no limitations.
All right, the character of Doctor Strange is a egotistical surgeon.
You're saying in the comics,
even in the MCU, right?
I guess he was in the beginning, but I feel like he's kind of humbled up a little bit.
Right, he got humbled, but now he's even as good a magician as he was a fucking scientist or surgeon, right? And that was his problem.
Yeah,
his problem was he's too egotistical, right? He's always wanting to push himself further to see how good he is. Mm-hmm. And now we're seeing the repercussions of him thinking like he's not egotistical in a Tony Stark way. He's egotistical in a perfectionist way. Or what do you call someone who is always striving to be the best? They're
I don't know, man.
I don't have a word for that. But that's gonna kill me. That I don't have a word for someone that's always trying to be the best.
A high achiever.
Mamba mentality. Kobe Bryant.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's got this Mamba mentality about whatever he's pursuing, and it shows that
he can't be relied on. He's not dependable.
Oh, he fucking sucks.
Which is a shame because he's such a cool character. I'm a really big fan of him, and I like that I feel like he does cool things, but I'm just waiting for him to like be more helpful than
not. Like he got Tony killed, and then at one time you saw 14 million ways this happens, and one time one person dies. Come on, bro. Like, I know there's somebody less valuable that dies.
He was just done with the movie. He had to get out.
He does the shit in No Way Home, and now universe is broken, I guess. And now his movie. Are you excited about his movie?
I am excited about it. The trailers have looked very, very cool.
Bro, the conspiracy web is going crazy.
I'm into it.
About this movie, man. Like
Give me like
the commercials have been great.
Give me like the main conspiracy. Because I don't dive that deep into
the Fox X-Men are gonna show up in this.
Okay, but that would make sense.
You heard
they're supposed to be appearing at some
point, right? Even if it's, I don't think they're going to be the MCU mainstays, but I feel like what we saw with No Way Home and fixing Spider-Man, they're gonna do the same thing with all the other properties. Explore the multiverse.
Got you.
And
so you think that we will see? Do you think that the multiverse? I mean, obviously, I feel like the multiverse is going to play a role again. But do you think other characters will come out in the way that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire came out of their universes and into the Spider-Man one? Do you think we're going to see other iterations of that?
Like other characters.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we have seen that in the Loki series, but do you think that in like some of the tentpole films, like that will be a component of those moving forward? Like, do you think Peter Parker or Tom is going to go and be like, damn, I need Andrew and Tobey back, and go get them?
I think that was a one-time thing, but I think the element that you're talking about will not be.
So like one day we could see multiple Thors jump out. I mean, I guess I've seen multiple Lokis, but
all right.
At some point we could see more than one version of a superhero.
Oh, of course. There's a rumor of Tom Cruise being Iron Man in this Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, I've not heard that.
He was the original cast in the 90s. Like they were going to use him as Iron Man.
That's wild.
And they didn't. And now this is the perfect time.
Yeah, like could you snatch Iron Man out of another universe and bring him in, and then we could have Iron Man again?
Of course. I feel like you could. I feel like that's what's going to happen with Black Panther.
Somebody in Black Panther is going to go snatch another
Black Panther. People are going to start realizing, there's going to be multi, and I'm glad you said Thor. There is a version, an army of Thors. And
really?
Yeah, it's a book written in 2016 by Jonathan Hickman called Secret Wars. It's a follow-up, not a follow, kind of a sequel.
I think we talked about this in
something,
weirdly enough, the last episode we did, which was like 2 years ago. And but I think we talked about this.
Becomes
Secret Wars.
God of that universe, and his army is an army of Thors. Doctor Strange is his sheriff, and it's really big. It's called Secret Wars, and I thought it was just funny. You said we'll see multiple Thors. I feel like because the Russo brothers said the only way they would come back is if they could do the Secret Wars movie.
Got you.
Right. Yeah. We saw what they did with Endgame. There's no reason you can't just have anything you fucking want at your disposal. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I feel like we're gonna slowly get there. We just don't know how we're gonna get so many characters and them literally just being able to do whatever they want versus having to follow a formula, right? Like at some point they'll just be able to we're just gonna do this character now. We don't have to do the trilogy with them.
Yeah, I feel like anything that gets like above a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes though gets a trilogy. Sonic the Hedgehog just got a trilogy. So I'm
excited about
everybody's getting a trilogy. If you're remotely successful, if you make any money, they'll make.
Did you see the trailer for Sonic 2?
I did.
Knuckles?
I never saw Sonic 1, I got to be honest.
It's on Paramount. You got Paramount?
Yeah.
It's on Paramount.
I'll have to check it out.
It's corny, but I can enjoy corny at almost being 40. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
I got kids, man. So whatever. If it keeps their attention, I'll fucking watch it.
Yeah. So now they're doing like a series on Knuckles or whatever.
Yeah. I heard that too. It's gonna be Idris Elba. It's gonna voice Knuckles.
Yeah,
that's fucking weird.
That's true. But on the I guess on the standalone front, not doing. I mean, I guess they're talking about doing it as a trilogy, but I guess DC's obviously an interesting player in the space right now with a lot of their characters being really more standalone than they are trilogies. I know that they've talked a little bit about doing the Joker, like the Joaquin Phoenix doing additional Joker films, which that seems like a long shot to me. But I know that the Batman coming up, it seems like they're gearing up for that to be a trilogy. So a lot of talk about that.
Are you going Thursday night?
You know, they're actually. Did you see that they were doing fan screenings on like Monday night?
You want to see if we can get?
I was trying to like maybe pull that off, but I don't think there are any tickets available. I looked. You can like buy them, like the general public can get them.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, they just did like a release of like you can go to like one. Like every theater is doing like one showing on like the Monday before it comes out.
Because I'm going. Like that, you know, Batman's my shit. So,
yeah.
It's our shit.
I love Batman, and a big Robert Pattinson fan.
I'm not mad at Rob Pattinson.
I've always been a fan of his. I've always enjoyed his work. I got to be honest. I know that he kind of came out of the gate with a tough series, but he's probably not mad at it because, I mean, you can't really blame him. He's getting paid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
I would have done it.
Fuck yeah,
I would have done it. I would have done it. You just listen. You can do some terrible movies for.
You want to be a pale vampire for 6 movies and
get paid?
Fuck yeah,
and then you can do whatever you want, bro, from here on out.
That's what people do now.
He retired on that money. You know what I mean? But now it's just whatever he wants, and he's doing cool things. You know, he's in Christopher Nolan movies. Now he's Batman.
Yeah.
You really can't be that mad at him, but he looks great as Batman. I'm very excited about the Batman. I think that's going to be.
I don't like the suit.
Oh, really?
No.
Well, what's wrong with the suit?
It looks
Are you more of like a cartoonish suit kind of guy?
No, I am a very
George Clooney suit man? Nipples on the chest kind of thing?
No, I'm a big Christian Bale modular suit.
Yes, I love that.
No, don't. Okay, I'll say this.
But I feel like this is kind of in that same space.
I don't like the collar. Right? I feel like it takes away from the profile of Batman. Like it's supposed to be cowl into the cape.
Gotcha.
And now it's cowl, collar, cape. Like football pads. Right? And
probably more functional though and realistic.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know.
I feel like.
But Bale figured it out. Like, I can't turn my head.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, he's like, I can't fix this shit. I can't turn my head. And he got
that's
like
true.
A helmet with a neck. You know what I'm saying? So it's the first. You know, Batman Begins. The suit sucked, and the Dark Knight. It was incredible. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So I feel like this will kind of follow the same trend. I love the idea of re-imaging our villains into psychotic serial killers.
Yeah, that is a very cool idea. I'm into that.
Batman, I love the way the Riddler works, man.
I feel like the Batman is really the character that works the best with. Like that kind of universe really works well for that. It seems like a harder thing to pull off in the Marvel world. True.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm glad that they're doing that with the Batman. It'll be interesting. I feel like people always get upset one way or the other. It's not cartoonish enough, or it's too realistic. I remember the Christopher Nolan series people were very aggressive about it being a little too real.
He's Batman,
but I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I think we're getting back to that after this Ben Affleck Batman.
Oh man, I totally skipped over that.
I like the suit. I just thought he was too jacked.
Ben Affleck as Batman really seemed that like he never cared that he was Batman. He seemed like he was. If there was anybody that was collecting a paycheck, it really felt like
Ben
it was
Affleck.
him. He had. I don't know if he's just by nature he doesn't really care. He might be that way. I don't know. He seemed to just not give a shit that he was Batman.
Well, he's an alcoholic, so.
Yeah, but like. I don't know.
You know,
he just seemed like he didn't want to be there.
You know,
he didn't want to be
how
there.
Emily feels about Andrew Garfield.
Yeah,
how my wife feels about Ben Affleck.
No kidding,
yes, bro.
But as Batman or somebody else, because I can get it maybe about some other characters.
No, she's got a lady boner for Ben Affleck
as Batman.
No, just Ben Affleck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, that's different than him as Batman.
Because he was Batman, she's all about Batman.
Oh, yeah. So it wasn't like she saw like Good Will Hunting and was like,
Did she
go that far back?
No, the town I think is like her like latch.
That's where she like started.
Yeah, she says she likes it. She likes him because he's an alcoholic.
All right.
Yeah. So
she likes it because he's an alcoholic.
Yeah, she says she likes that he's like always bouncing back.
Got you.
She says she thinks that's sexy, and I'm like,
yeah.
So do you want me to be an alcoholic? Can I always?
Yeah, don't try that.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Probably not gonna go the same way.
Nah, he's millions of dollars.
Damn, dude.
I still gotta work every day.
Bad flag. Wow.
So yeah,
what a time, dude.
Oh, my wife has got a hard on for that Justice League in general.
That's interesting.
What's his name? Aquaman.
I feel like people are very stoked on Aquaman.
Aquaman.
I think he's fine. I like him. I enjoy him. But people really in the DC world act like Aquaman is like their North Star.
I have why.
Which is interesting. I feel like because it was the only film when they were trying to redo like the characters and get the Justice League all together, I feel like Aquaman was really the only one that came together really and like had a movie that was successful. So I feel like everybody was like, well, at least we have that. Yeah. Everything else was kind of like a wash. I mean, Wonder Woman was a big deal, but then the second one didn't seem to do really as well.
It was terrible. It was pandemic time.
Which is interesting.
That shit sucked.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And she's getting a third one.
I told you, anything that's at all successful is going to get 3 movies at least. Yeah, because it'll make enough money. And most so many movies nowadays don't make anything. Like they just do terrible. So if you get something that has like, okay, this did all right, we can build a little bit of a franchise here, and people will just watch it because they feel like they have to watch it.
Right.
That's so much more reliable than trying to throw like something totally new at them. Like you can't reboot Wonder Woman at this point. Like you have to at least finish this out and then give it some time.
Yeah, I hope we are getting out of the shackles of the reboot, right?
For Justice League, you're saying?
No, DC? Just in general. Like I feel like with the way content is right now, it like doing laps around us.
Yeah.
You can't reboot so fast. You got to do like 10 to 15 years with a character now.
Oh, no, dude. I think we're going to get way less than that.
Really?
I think so. I
think we'll get other versions, but
I think like at max, you get a decade out of most people. At max. Okay. Especially with like Disney Plus now. Disney Plus is like the life hack of transitioning characters. Like Hawkeye will probably, like, I don't know, we'll probably never see Hawkeye again.
Probably will not, and we'll get Kate Bishop going forward.
Exactly.
And she'll like, I gotta call my uncle.
And that was a suitable show.
Yeah, and he'll like FaceTime her and like never have to show up on set.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like with that now, it's like we can just phase people out and move on like in between movies. I don't know.
Yeah. Outside of superhero shit, what else? We're Bond guys.
Yeah.
Did you watch the last one?
I did.
How'd you feel, man?
I thought the story was a little complicated. I feel like it was. It's a shame. Yeah. It's a shame because there aren't very many movies that are cooler
than Bond.
Like awesome locations, cool cars, dope clothes.
Like everything just has to be fucking
You
cool.
might not like the fact that like, you know, there's obviously some sexist stuff going on.
Hey,
but
Bond gets fucked.
The guys look cool. They look great. Clothes look great. Women look great. They're like, everything just looks very cool. It's a very like suave kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole thing. So it's fun to watch, and I really enjoy it for like those aspects. It felt like the story was a little too overcomplicated, which is a shame because I don't think James Bond always has to be so complicated. Like what is happening doesn't always have to be so complicated. Skyfall was a great example of simple. Like you have all the right. You have all the parts that I'm talking about, the things that like make Bond so cool, but the story. The narrative is just simpler. Like you can follow it without really having to be like dialed into everything that's like taking place and being said. And I felt like with No Time to Die, it was very much that. I mean, it was very long.
I had to keep stopping.
Yes, very long.
I had to keep stopping and then, all right, let me go back 20 minutes and make sure I digest it before I break again.
Yeah, we had to stop it like every 30 minutes and just kind of like reset.
Me and my wife were talking to each other about what's happening as we're watching it. And I'm like, so the guy from the thing from the Shrink, and she's like, yeah. You know, like that's our, you know.
Yeah. It's just there's too much is trying to be wrapped up. That's ultimately what it what it boils down to. I felt like with the Daniel Craig character, it's interesting because I don't think Bond used to be like, they weren't all so sequential. Like they didn't all build off of one another. They used to be a little bit more standalone. And I think with the Daniel Craig ones, like Casino Royale is relatively like it kicked off.
Still
like, I think unintentionally, it kind of kicked off like this narrative that they really felt like they had to tie up. Like they were still talking about things that were happening in Casino Royale and No Time to Die. And I'm like, dude, that was like over a decade ago. And it just feels like, so it feels very cumbersome as a storyteller to try to weave all of those things even into the close. Like it just feels like they would have been better if they would have like just left some of that stuff alone and just kind of moved on and simplified the story.
It should have just been brutal. It should have just been fucking Die Hard. Like, take his family and let him just go out in a blaze of glory.
I like the fact, I like how it ended. Like, I like his outro. I was okay with all that. I felt good with seeing him, kind of end it. Like in that heroic way, if you will. Like I'm okay with all that. I think that all looks good. So I don't know if I'd give it a B plus maybe. It wasn't my favorite of the Daniel Craig movies. It better than Quantum of Solace, but
it kept my attention and made me want to finish the movie, even though I had to keep stopping. I was like, I gotta finish this shit.
Yeah, Skyfall for me and the Daniel Craig like timeline. Skyfall is just so above and beyond everything else. Like that and Casino Royale are, in the entire collection of Bond films, like those two movies have to be like right up there.
Yeah, if I get like a extended amount of time alone and I'm like scrolling and I see it, I'll watch it. Like, oh fuck it. Yeah, I'll do this.
It's so good.
I'm gonna do this for the next 2 hours.
It's so good. So yeah, I mean I like what they did ultimately with Daniel Craig. I'm glad to see him go. Curious to see what they'll do next.
That character go.
But it'll be interesting to see where they pick up and who they go with. I hope that they don't try to continue like. I feel like they built it up like we're leaving these characters. You're going to see these characters again. I would kind of hope that they start fresh, but my thought is that they probably are going to try to roll with that.
It would be cool if they kind of touched on it in the last one about the 007 title can be passed on. Which I always had a theory that James Bond 007 was never the initial character's name. Like James Bond is the title of the agent. Yeah. And that's the agent profile you assume when you become 007. It would be dope if they were to continue with the lineup they have now and recruit a new guy to be James Bond 007.
Yeah.
And kind of dig into that part of it. Maybe, because he has assumed the new profile of James Bond 007, he gets people who want to kill him because it's the title is attached to something, a larger conspiracy. But that's just me just shooting shit in the dark. But that would be dope. I think there were talks of Idris Elba. I think he's too old.
I think they're gonna do something. I think they're gonna do a young Bond.
Yeah,
they're gonna go do like a Tom Holland's or something. Like I could see Tom Holland. I'm not advocating for that. There's a part of me that really thinks that that's what they'll do.
Well, everybody's like a 2 franchise person now.
They love him. Well, they've tried to put him in Uncharted, but we'll see how that goes. The Uncharted series seems like it might not have too many legs.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be more serious.
It was in development hell for so long that it was really hard to imagine that Uncharted was going to come out and be great. But it's a shame because it's such a staple franchise in the video game world. It seems like you really would, especially for Sony.
Did you play it?
Oh yeah, of course.
I didn't play it.
I love Uncharted. It's great.
It's all my buddies are like, it's I'll amazing. Give you my PlayStation.
Yeah.
I have Xbox. I want to get a PlayStation. I'm not jumping through hoops right now.
Yeah, I got you.
But
it's amazing.
All the PlayStation guys are like, yeah, let's play that shit.
So it's a shame to see that I mean, obviously, that's what Sony was trying to do. They thought they would grab young characters and try to catch the franchise young so that they can really have plenty of time to grow and build it, because they don't want to lock into old people and then, be under the gun for the next 5 years to get a couple of them out. So I think that I could see them trying to do that with James Bond. Let's go younger. Daniel Craig was always a little bit older to begin with. He wasn't the youngest Bond.
He was in his 40s, right?
Yeah, when this all started. So I think they're going to try to
kudos to him for keeping it together.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to pick up somebody young. I think that they feel like that
go younger, super young Bond.
Yeah, and I think that they might. Again, I don't agree with it, but I think that they might assume that it would play better to younger audiences, right? Because you're getting to the point where that's,
you can't keep telling the story of him being a super secret agent. Let's see some early stuff.
Yeah,
right? How did he get?
So I could see them going that direction. I could see them getting a Tom Holland or something like that to do it. I don't think that he should, but. The jury is still out for me on him. I think he might be a one-dimensional person. I feel like I'm,
He's got a, yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. He seems kind of one-dimensional. I've not seen Uncharted yet.
Is it out?
I don't think I think it comes out tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah, I think it comes out this weekend. So the reviews for it have not been great, and the trailers seem like he is just Peter Parker in a different
that's what it feels
setting and scenario. So we'll see. I don't know. I have some concerns about whether or not he can really adapt to other characters. James Bond is such a unique persona. It would be weird to have Tom Holland's
to see somebody
your neighborhood buddy come in and your friend be James Bond.
I'd like to see somebody broken do that shit, Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, that's too weird though. That's too out of left field. I don't disagree, but it's just too strange. Shia LaBeouf is also way too risky of an actor.
He's older now too.
It's not even that he's old so much. I think is just that he's too risky, because he'll do a great movie and then he'll pop off and go on a racist tyrant or something like that, and then all of a sudden they'll have to cancel it. He's so unreliable. He's too inconsistent. He does weird stuff.
I hope he can rectify his career, man. I'm a Shia LaBeouf.
He's a fantastic
fucking idiot
actor. Incredible. Yeah. He's incredible. But he'll go on a 3-year hiatus where he's living in the woods and doesn't want to use social media, and then he'll pop back up, or he just does weird stuff, or he'll beat up somebody at a fast food place. Man. Yeah. So he's too unreliable. He's too unreliable. They would look at him and be like, no, can't do this. We have to have somebody who's consistent, is going to show up to work.
Yeah. You got to be British. Bond's British.
Yeah, and Daniel Craig, he had some issues with that, and they talked a lot about it.
They got that money up.
He was not always the most consistent, but he's older and showed up to work. So I guess at the end of the day.
Are you into any of the Tom Clancy stuff on Amazon?
No, I've not gotten into it yet. I feel like Amazon has really been disappointing me. I don't really. I really don't mess with too much on the Amazon front. I watched the Twin Towers show that they did with Jeff Daniels. Was that it?
Didn't watch it.
Okay, so I watched that. I thought that was good. I've watched some other Amazon stuff. I've not really been super impressed. I'm kind of holding down for the Lord of the Rings thing, the Ring of Power.
Yeah, I think we'll.
That looks, in my opinion, not very good.
As that was my. Part of my childhood. So,
the Lord of the Rings.
I just got
Tom Clancy.
No, Lord of the Rings shit.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Was I a child? What year was that?
Oh, dude, yeah, I was young.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm thinking we were young, right?
Yeah. We were
so
young.
Yeah, I just for shits and giggles sake, I gotta check it out.
Oh, I'll definitely watch it. I mean, I have Prime, so it'll be free. So I'll have to at least watch it. But I've got to be honest, I did not enjoy the trailer very much. It all looked way too,
whimsical
and sexy. That's the way to look.
Yeah.
Everybody was it's too polished and too nice.
Okay.
Even the character posters and everything that they did, everybody felt just too perfect. It's all very
It's supposed to be magically safe.
Yeah.
If I hit you with a lightning bolt from my magic wand, you're not gonna burn up to a crisp.
I don't know,
but dude. You'll feel it.
The Peter Jackson trilogy it felt very the Lord of the Rings.
You're on point with your director names.
Was very grounded and very real and very it. I don't know. It just wasn't that polished fairy tale kind of story. It felt very like scary and real, and I liked that. That was something that I really enjoyed about that series. This feels like it's going to be less like that.
Less scary.
It's just going to be more, I don't know, fantasy stuff maybe.
Hope it's not The Witcher. Did you watch The Witcher?
I do watch The Witcher. I really want... The Witcher is an interesting show because it should be better than it is.
And it's not.
It's not.
Why it's not holding me.
It's not like... The storyline, I think, is actually pretty good. I never played the video game, so you'll have to forgive me. But the storyline, I feel like, is pretty good. The show does a bad job of like conveying it in establishing the foundation of the narrative. It's complicated, probably more complicated than it needs to be. People don't like even the words, like the locations and the families and the names and everything are very like fantasy based, super obscure. So they're super obscure. So it's very hard for me to really track with where we're at and who we're talking about. It's not like with Game of Thrones where like the names were a little bit more grounded in reality. And so like,
gotcha.
Somebody says, oh, the Lannister family. And it's like, oh, the Lannister family. Like, okay.
Like I've heard that name before.
I can track with that. It sounds like a real name. But in The Witcher, they're like, and you're like, wait, where are we going again? And then you forget about it. And then anyway, so I feel like I like the characters in The Witcher. I think they do a good job from a production standpoint. I've watched both seasons. And it's Netflix, and I have a Netflix subscription, so I will watch it happily. I just feel like if they had a better writing team and they were maybe a better showrunner or something like that, it would be a little bit tighter. I think it could be a little bit more in line with Game of Thrones or a little bit closer to that, but I don't think that it's as consistent.
Women love it because they love Henry Cavill.
Oh yeah, he's great.
And apparently the Witcher fanboys love it.
Well, yeah, he is very committed to the character, and he's a big fan of the video game. I read that like he really went on his own like campaign to get the role. Like he was very committed.
Spiritual journey.
Yeah, he like really wanted to be the Witcher and like went out of his way to make sure that he ultimately became it. So I think there's good stuff there, and if Netflix, they seem like they're willing to keep going with it. So I'm sure that it'll get refined and better over time. I don't know if it'll ever be as good as Game of Thrones or something, but it's a shame because I feel like it could have been with the right writing team and showrunner.
Like it's just okay, to me anyway. Yeah. Like it's just okay. I mean, I'll put it on while I'm working.
Sure.
And like let it play and
sure.
A scene will catch me and I'll stop what I'm doing. But
there are some really, really great moments. I felt like by the end of season 2, I was very invested. It took me like 4 or 5 episodes to really start to care a lot about what was going on, and even really to track with what was happening. So I felt like by the end I was like, okay, this is great, and then it ended. And which brings up an interesting point about actually my least favorite thing about Netflix shows. It's for most people, they love the fact that they can watch everything at once, and I think that that's cool. I enjoy it.
I don't enjoy it,
but
I appreciate it. I don't like it.
So I like the option of being able to, and my wife hates me for this, but I like the option of being able to like watch 2 episodes and then be like, all right, I'll come back to you later. Like I want to put my own breaks on rather than be like, oh man, I know I got to wait a week. Because some episodes I'll get to the end and I'll be like, I can stop here. Other episodes I'm like, I need to pull out one more. So I'm down with that. But the thing that I don't like about the Netflix show, and this became quite apparent with the second season of The Witcher, I can't search for like what's happened. I can't like go on Google and be like, okay, what's happening? Like what's happening in the last episode? I can't do that like I can with HBO. Like everybody is online and
because
there's dedicated forums with the episode.
With The Witcher comes out, you're like,
you have a week. Yeah, so you have a week of dialogue and conversation that's breaking down the last episode, which is really helpful for people like me. I like to get into it and know exactly what's going on. Yeah. With The Witcher, the nerds have watched through the whole thing in the first 24 hours. So I can't ask what's happening without just spoiling the whole show. Because there's no forum where it's like, okay, so in episode 2, like this is what's happening.
There's no checkpoint for everybody to catch up.
Yeah. It's just like all of the reviews or breakdowns are all for the entire season.
You can't talk about it if you haven't seen it, like period.
Yeah.
And I don't like that pressure. I don't like being at the bar and there's a series I want to watch and someone's like, yeah, have you seen so-and-so? And they've seen it and I got to say, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
That's very dickheadish of me to say that to someone, but you can't, man. Like, don't spoil it. Like, just give us, I'd take 3. That's what Amazon does. They'll give you 3.
Yeah.
3 is a perfect, I can do it in a night and then go to bed and I can wait until next week. It's like watching a movie. I'm good with that. Yeah. You give me all of them, like me and my wife are fighting because I'm not where she is in the show. I can't talk about it with people at work because one person's on episode 1, another person's on 7. Fuck. So
switching from The Witcher, do you watch Stranger Things? Are you into that? Okay, great. Yeah. So a lot of news came out about that show today. And this will probably be like our last topic because we've been going for like an hour. But that's fine. Something that I'm not a fan of at all, even more than being able to watch everything at once, is 2-part seasons. And they're doing a 2-part season for season 4. They're doing volume 1, volume 2. Now, they did say that this is the longest season by far, in that it's basically, so I don't know what that means. Like, there's no episode, I've not seen an episode list. It might exist, but my understanding is, again, according to the letter that the 2 guys that do it, what are the Duffer Brothers? Yeah. I think that's what it's called. They wrote like a letter that basically said that this is the longest season by a long shot that they've ever done. So that's why they're splitting it in half and giving you 2 volumes, volume 1, volume 2. So if it's like, if that's true, if it is like 8 or 9 episodes, volume 1, then volume 2 is another 8 or 9 episodes, and that's tight. But if it's just going to be like 3 episodes and then 3 episodes, I feel like as Netflix shows go on, they're like 10 episodes, 8 episodes, 6 episodes. So I feel like if it's just 3 and 3 or 4 and 4, like that's going to be a bummer.
Ozark is the first show they have that did that.
Yes.
Did you watch Ozark?
So I don't watch Ozark. Okay. I know that's like blasphemy for a lot of people, especially in my family. But I know that they've done that with Ozark, which is interesting too. But it seems like it's something that obviously Netflix is doing now.
I think it was 7 episodes.
7 and 7.
So
or the second
I still feel like 7 is a good
out.
season. Like, I can take 7 episodes of a season and be done.
50-minute episodes?
Yeah, and that's what Disney does.
Okay.
Their shit is 7, 8 episodes, 1 season.
Yeah.
An hour.
Disney could go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I thought Boba Fett, well, I'm not going to get into all that now. We can talk about that next week. But I think, like, do you watch any Star Wars stuff?
Of course.
Okay, so I think, like, the Boba Fett series could have been longer. I do think that. They could have given you...
You're talking about
9 or 10 episodes.
Mandalorian 2.5?
Yeah, they could have given me 9 or 10 episodes.
I would have took 9 or 10 because...
I think 7 is too... That's not enough. And the episode length is really too... Like, it's all over the road. Some episodes are 30 minutes, some are an hour. Yeah. What is happening? Yeah. I don't get that. I love the show, but I could have done with a little bit more of a little bit more of a longer season, I guess I would say. But as far as the 2-volume thing, not a huge fan of the 2-volume thing. Don't like that. But I guess COVID.
Or just make it. This is season 4, and then we'll come back for season 5.
So they said that season 5 is going to be the last season. I'm not sure if you saw that, but they said that season 5 will be the final, so like the series finale, if you will, which is fine. Kind of I don't know. I hate it when like great shows end, but I know that
they gotta end.
I know that they have to.
Don't get Game of Thrones, man.
Game of Thrones needed to just keep going. That's all. They just tried to duck out of that too quick. That's all. Game of Thrones was a fantastic series, and then they just rushed to the end. That's all, and that's a shame. Okay. But it is what it is. It'll be, I guess, good to see Stranger Things kind of come up to a close, but 5th season, hopefully they don't do 2 volumes. That's all I'm saying. Right. I hope that they keep it just down to the 1 season. But anyway. Oh, God. All right.
Well.
That's probably enough for this week. I feel
Bad Guys and Bourbon is back.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's any reason to do any plugs. Like,
no,
we're back, you know. New setup, season 2.
Yes.
We're back. Obviously, we survived COVID and well, not COVID, the pandemic. And we got a new setup. We got a new layout. Same 2 faces.
Yeah. We'll see how this goes.
And more dogs.
All right.
All right.
God bless.
Later.